Good afternoon and welcome to our What's Buzzin' at Georgia Tech webinar series. My name is Tyler Barker, coordinator within the Office of Parent and Family Programs. I apologize for my lack of visual feed today. I'm having some technical difficulties with my camera. However, we are joined by a very special guest whose camera is working, Director Dr. Linda Green, who is the director of the Tutoring and Academic Support Center here on campus. He is here to kind of talk about student success, academic support, tutoring. How can we best support your student? What programs and resources do we have, and how do we offer them? And just talking about student success in general. If you have any questions for Dr. Green at the end of the presentation, please feel free to utilize the Q&A chat box. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to utilize the Q&A chat box. We will definitely get to those after the presentation. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Linda Green, and she will get us started today.
Great, thank you so much. Well, I am delighted to be here today and tell you about the programs that are offered through the Tutoring and Academic Support Office as part of the Office of Undergrad Ed. I can also answer some questions about some of the additional success programs that are across campus in the area of tutoring. My additional roles here at Georgia Tech include being a faculty member in the School of Biological Sciences. I've been a part of Georgia Tech since 2008, was an advisor in biology for many years before transitioning over to this role in OUE. Let me go ahead and prime up my slides so that you can follow along with the resources that I'd like to share with you. Tyler, does everything look good?
Yes, everything is perfect.
Awesome. All right, so my goal today is to give you an overview of our programming and answer questions that you have on how to best support your student to find their success while they're here at Georgia Tech. So to start off with, we have one main starting point for our programming. It's at tutoring.gotech.edu. Our main offices are on the second floor of Clough, which your student is familiar with. Most of the introductory science and engineering courses have some link with classroom space here within the Clough building. We're on the second floor, just down the hall from the coffee shop. We have a tutoring center where in-person tutoring takes place, and we also utilize a number of the classrooms on the hallway for some of our group sessions. When we think about how we support students, really thinking of the big picture of how we fit into student life. So one of the things to consider is that the job of a student includes somewhere around 20 to 30 hours of studying per week, depending on their course load and how many hours they may be dedicating to classes, athletics, a job, and other responsibilities. So for that 25 hours of studying, we hope that students are achieving some blend of individual self-study, peer study, and utilizing resources like their instructor and their TA. So we fit into both of the first two, both helping an individual strengthen their skills in self-study and also providing them with some structured opportunities for group study and hopefully connecting them with other students in their classes so that they can form their own study groups outside of our programming. So the first resource is thinking about our tutoring. So tutoring is available for all Georgia Tech students. It's free for 2 sessions per week for each course that they're enrolled in that we can support with tutoring. Our in-person sessions are here in the second floor in our tutoring center. And right now, the demand is about 50-50. Half of the appointments students are selecting to arrange for a virtual appointment. So that takes place over BlueJeans. We'll be transitioning to Zoom soon with campus transitions. And we'll probably maintain 25 to 50% of availability that students can select for virtual offerings. And that gives some flexibility for us to offer tutoring later in the evenings when our tutoring center is closed and also on the weekends. So there's a lot more opportunities for students to get help. Our tutors are their peers. They've been identified as a high achieving student who's earned an A in the course that they can tutor in. And then they take a CRLA certification class with TAS, where we talk about different components of engaging with students in a tutoring session, how to build self-sufficiency so that the student not only gets the information they need in a tutoring session, but walks away with skills on how to help themselves when they get stuck later outside of the tutoring session. Our tutors also help staff alongside TAs from the various departments, our drop-in help desk. And this is intended to provide on-the-spot help when a student doesn't have flexibility to schedule a tutoring appointment. So the tutoring software will show them availabilities that are 24 hours and beyond anytime they open it up to look for an appointment. So something where they might need help within that 24 hours, we have 4 subjects for which we offer drop-in help: math, CS, physics, and chemistry. And these are in the classrooms here on the hallway. Students can walk right in, sit down with either one of our tutors or one of the TAs from the department and get help on that day's homework or a content from that morning's lecture, or help answer some questions maybe for the evening exam. We support around 150 to 200 courses with tutoring. It ranges with the skills of the tutors that we hire each semester, but we focus on our hiring to be able to support all the 1,000 and 2,000 level science, engineering, and math courses, which you can see here. We expand out to other subject matter across campus. We have the opportunity for a student to request tutoring even if a course is not on this list. So they can see on our website, and they can also access when they go look for it in the scheduling software, an opportunity to say, I can't find my course, or I can't find a time that I need. And then they fill out a form that lists the course, the times that they're available, the type of a question they have, and we blast that out to our student staff and help to hopefully match them with someone who can help them outside of the scheduled off appointments. A different strategy that we have is to help students with their success through group study. And so PLUS is a name for peer-led undergraduate study. It creates a very structured group study session, and these individuals are also peers that have earned an A in the course, and then they're hired and trained by us. They go back and they take the course again alongside their peers. So they're right up to the minute on when the exams are, what's been covered in class, what maybe was a tricky point with the way it was delivered by the TA or the faculty member, and then they build an evening study session based on that content and based on what they know is going to be on the upcoming exam or quiz or homework assignment. So PLUS is offered twice a week for the courses that are supported. They're all free. Students can start going to PLUS or stop going to PLUS, just like tutoring. It can go on throughout the semester. We have data to show that attending PLUS regularly increases a student's chances by more than twice to earn an A, B, or C, finish with an A, B, or C in the course. So we have good data to show that its impact really does help to build consistent skills in the course by a student who attends regularly. For both tutoring and PLUS, we train our peer educators to help emphasize building the skills of the student to learn how to study. They talk a little bit about what are you doing. The tutor or the PLUS leader might give some advice on how to tweak their particular study strategies in order to be more effective. They will also promote and help them see the types of questions that they might take to the professor or the TA during office hours. They're really helping to develop a student in their study skills and allowing them to see how they can maximize the resources for their success. Another element that sometimes feeds into particularly our tutoring sessions is helping to identify students that might need a little bit of extra help beyond just the subject matter. So we partner with my neighboring program, Academic Coaching, and our students, our peer tutors, know to kind of recognize and suggest coaching for a student who might need help on a broader sense. So really looking at time management, being able to tweak and adapt their study skills for multiple subjects. Academic coaching really breaks down the learning process and helps the student identify how they learn best and how to fit that into the various courses that they're taking. They will also look at how their academic success interacts with their personal well-being. So coaching is a great way for students to augment the resources that they can get from tutoring and PLUS. We support a slightly shorter list of courses with PLUS compared to tutoring. Because of the one-to-one nature, each student is only going to support one course as a PLUS leader, but we focus in on our math courses, physics, chemistry, and then are able to build out some of the additional courses that are well suited to having a plus leader. So those plus leaders, again, are developing those study sessions twice a week, and the only students who are attending are other students in the course. So that's why it's a really great entry point, especially post-COVID, just sort of helping students adapt to the in-person residential experience, is they can connect with other students that are enrolled in the same course by attending plus. So I want to emphasize it's never too late to start reaching out for help. We just hit the midpoint of the semester, and so we hope that your student, if they haven't already tried a plus session or tutoring, will consider it for any of the bumps that they may be experiencing within their academic semester. We will work to match students into a tutoring session if they are unable to find availability for the course that they need. They can fill out that unmet tutoring need, and we will help connect them to one of our tutors. We also hope and invite students, especially ones that have utilized our services, to come back and work with us. So we are just starting our application process for spring semester. We hire students based on the courses that they've earned in A, to either be a tutor or a plus leader. And we have one more program that I haven't emphasized today. It's a learning assistant program. It's not something that students can seek out, but they may experience it in their courses. So a new program that we've begun, the learning assistant attends course and interacts with students during the class period. So these are courses that often have a significant component of the class time is utilized in activities, peer-to-peer discussions, small group projects. So the learning assistant is another instructor in the room, so that the faculty member, the LA, sometimes there's also a TA, are constantly circulating around the room and helping students as they have questions and need to navigate that particular activity. So we also are hiring for our learning assistants as well as our tutors and plus leaders. A couple of tips for how your student can connect with us. All of our resources you can start from at tutoring.gotech.edu, and then the top banner can help them feed into the individual programs. From the tutoring webpage is where they can connect and log in to see all of the availability of support for the courses that they're enrolled in. The system already knows what they're enrolled in. They just have to click through to see the tutoring openings for their courses. And then there's a button both on our website and within that scheduling software to click for an unmet tutoring need. The plus sessions and the schedule are available on our website, but actually your student probably has more ready access through their course website. So Canvas is the platform that we use at Georgia Tech to host a course's syllabus, PowerPoints that the professor might distribute, PDFs. All of those resources are all located on Canvas. The plus leaders are also in the Canvas site, and they're using that to advertise the time of their plus session, and hopefully also being a visible person within the classroom so that your student will know who their plus leader is. The last one is something that I think is heavily utilized once students realize it's there, and we hope and try to promote visibility of the drop-in help desks. It's really a great resource. You're stuck on a CS problem set, you can't figure out why your coding is off, you can walk in, get help. And CS Math and Chemistry are also offering an online component. So they can use our website to connect in with a TA virtually and get the help that they need while they're working through a problem set. My next slide is trying to kind of lay out the different resources to help you see if you're working with your student and trying to help strategize what they might do next if they're encountering a problem or when they're stuck on a particular course content. So there are a couple of different ways to think about the resources that are at their fingertips for success. Starting over on the left, anything that has to do with a graded item or the specifics of what an assignment requires, negotiating an excused or unexcused absence, we direct students to go straight to their professor or their TA for the course because the tutor and the plus leader is not involved in those components. In terms of understanding content, that's probably the broadest one, where a student hopefully is utilizing all the different resources. They may go to their professor to go over maybe the past exam and look for some specific feedback on how to prepare for the next exam. They can also take those same questions to a tutoring session. One big difference between tutoring and plus is tutoring is where the student brings the agenda. They can kind of direct what is focused on and how long you spend on each topic. For plus, the plus leader is crafting the activities. They're picking out particular moments and content from the past week's discussion and then emphasizing it by developing an activity for that plus session. The students sometimes find that the plus session is helpful to just because you're walking in the door, you're going to sit down and someone is going to give you some activities to work on and help you develop your study skills and your knowledge of the content for the course. Whereas tutoring, you're going to maximize that hour by bringing in the questions that you have and being able to utilize the resources in that tutor's expertise. The last one on the far right is really emphasizing study strategies that are beyond one specific course, is where a student can tap into the resources with academic coaching. We have 5 coaches on campus. They hold sessions all week long. Most of them are virtual, and they help to sort of mentor your student, navigate what college learning is like, how to study at the college level, how to balance your academics with your personal life and set small goals, short-term goals, and long-term goals to achieve success. There are a number of different personnel that you can reach out to with more questions, and your student can also reach out to us. So my contact info is at the top is the Director of Tutoring and Academic Support. Our Assistant Director helps to navigate primarily our tutoring, programming, and then we have a coordinator for both the PLUS programming, the tutoring, and Stephanie Reiches is both a faculty member as well as coordinates the math lab. So that's probably the math and the CS are our most popular drop-in help desks, and they take walk-in help, usually supported by up to 5 or 6 TAs at any given time that are working to help answer questions across the different courses. I added 2 more slides because I want to take the opportunity to help distribute a few more resources that are available at Georgia Tech to ensure academic success by your student. The first one is emphasizing academic advisors, because I mentioned academic coaching. Another element of helping your student navigate their 4 years at Georgia Tech is their academic advisor. They're assigned an academic advisor based on their major. And this individual does everything from helping to advise course selection semester to semester, ensuring the student's on track for graduation, but also brainstorming opportunities for upcoming summers or a different semester that the student may want to take off. An academic advisor may be involved in career advice, helping to connect the student with our Career Center, which is another wealth of resources that every student should take advantage of while they're here. But the academic advisor, I think, is one resource that often can be even a letter of recommendation as the student departs and moves on from Georgia Tech. As an academic advisor in biology, I really got to know my students well over 4 years, watching them take their journey through Georgia Tech, identify their passion, their areas of strength, and put that to a career path. The last resource that I wanted to connect you with is exploratory advising. So this is separate from the academic major advisor. This individual, Ms. Aluko, works with academic coaching, and she's available to help students kind of explore what they might do if they don't keep the major that they're in, or what they might do if they add a minor to the major that they're pursuing. So she knows a lot about the entire landscape at Georgia Tech and also has skill in sort of listening to your students' strengths, their weaknesses, what they're frustrated about in their current courses or their current major, and then helping to provide suggestions that might redirect them to a more successful path. And sometimes that means we're not changing your career goal, but maybe we can suggest a different major that better suits your strengths to allow you to achieve that career goal. She also can help students think about the differences between a minor and a certificate. The main difference for you to think about is it's the number of courses that are packaged together in order to earn a certificate, which is something you would put on your resume, versus a minor, which is going to be part of your transcript. Both of them can go on the resume. The advisors, both the academic advisor and the exploratory advisor, are available on AdvisorLink, which your student can get to from advising.govtech.edu. All right, so I'm going to stop there and see if there are some questions from those of you who are listening today. And I'll flip back over to one more. Whoop. This slide here in terms of maybe triggering the different programming that my office offers and how we might best suit your needs.
Thank you so much, Linda. We don't have any questions just yet. Parents and family members, please continue to post those if you have any for our guest today.
While folks are thinking about what they might want to ask, let me add a few insights that we're seeing in this semester, kind of returning back to more residential experience and in-person courses, is looking at how our resources can help your student develop self-sufficiency in their studying and in their learning. And one of the challenges, right, from all of the virtual learning that we were immersed in for the past year and a half is creating structure and self-regulation, motivation to study regularly and study often. And so many of the emphases that we put in place through our peer tutors and our plus leaders is helping to build resiliency in your student to be able to study on a regular basis and not push everything to the deadline or push everything to that upcoming midterm, but working to build in those skills and that tenacity to try to study each of their courses every couple of days and keeping up with that work. I think that's been a real shift. And now that we are so much more active and moving around campus, time management has become kind of a new obstacle and challenge for students, and thinking about building that tenacity of studying regularly and in small chunks quite frequently.
You have one parent say, can they get a copy of the slides after the event?
Certainly, if you want to drop me an email, I'd be happy to share the information with you. So linda.green@gatech, and answer any questions that you have through that email as well.
Over this semester, have you seen a uptick in first years seeking academic and tutoring support services compared to previous first years? If so, why do you think so? And what would you say to parents whose students are hesitant about coming?
Yeah, we're just starting to pull some of that data as we get into halfway through the semester. So right now, about 25% of our first years have utilized our resources this semester. And so that's a great start. We'd like to see that number climb. It goes down when we look at some of the subsequent years. And part of that is we don't support as many third and fourth year courses. So that number drops to about 10% of third and fourth years who are utilizing tutoring and plus. But I'd love to see it growing a little bit closer to 50%. I think particularly because the group study should be accessible and low anxiety for all students. And so working to sort of help students recognize the value of going for an hour and having someone already craft that study session for them so that they don't have to figure out what to study and how long to study each chunk. Going to that group study, that plus session, not only are they meeting some other peers and getting some practice, but it's already been curated for them. So really trying to help students see that that's a time management strategy of being really efficient with their studying.
Great. And seems like we have a comment here. I just want to say thank you. Our student sought help even before she had problems in math, just to stay on track with tutoring, and she is doing very well right now.
That's awesome.
I think that's very important to note, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this as well. You know, seeking help before you actually need a problem, just to kind of see where you are in the course, or even just to sharpen up some skills or what have you.
Absolutely, I really appreciate the feedback. We do love when students get ahead, and often in Facet try to emphasize to students that, like, it's all right to schedule a tutoring appointment before that first midterm. Like, just go ahead and go in there and see if you can explain the material to someone else, and feel as confident as you think you are, but coming out of high school being a very successful student, but really needing to maybe just check that before you dive into those college midterms. But we also at this point in the semester want to emphasize that it's not too late. And I think many students get caught by having one or two, at this point in the semester, probably two midterm grades, and thinking that, right, they're sunk if they're not where the student would like them to be. There are a lot of courses at Georgia Tech that have a lab component or a participation component, or they have papers. And in fact, those midterms are only a small portion of the earned grade, and they're not really in such a dire place as they think. And that's where, right, encouraging your student to go maybe have that reality check with a professor who has experience of seeing that panic and that response from their students, and trying to help them see where they can maximize their improvement for the remaining weeks in the semester. And then we hope they come see us, because we really like to help them hone their skills and make sure that next midterm is looking a lot better.
And Linda, now that we have passed midterms and kind of steamrolling into upcoming finals week, will your office have different hours during finals week, just different registration and scheduling? If you could just talk about that briefly.
Absolutely. So Georgia Tech has a one-day gap at the beginning of finals period between the last day of classes, which is a Tuesday, and then the first finals start on Thursday, and that gap is called reading day. So we offer study sessions all day. For the different courses, they're 2 to 3 hour blocks, and we pull in the faculty, we pull in TAs, and we pull in our tutors and host it in one of the large lecture classrooms downstairs. The students can come in and have an intense group study session. I mean, there are typically hundreds of students who come into these lecture halls and all work together in small groups on a study guide. We do those on reading day for some of our biggest high demand courses like calculus, physics, CS, and chemistry. And then during finals themselves, our tutoring is closed because our tutors themselves are taking their own finals. We tend to have a few review sessions from the plus leaders who are kind of finishing out the semester. So some of them are scheduling their last session before reading day if it's an early exam, and if it's a later exam, they can ask to hold one of those last plus sessions during finals period. But generally, we want to protect our student employees by having them finish at reading day.
Awesome. We have a comment here from a mom. My son is hesitant asking help from professors. What should he do?
So I sometimes try to help a student break through that difficulty by beginning with asking a professor a question or two before or after class. And often after class is a little bit better. Sometimes professors are really breezing in, real focused on getting set up. And we've got a lot more technology now because most of the time I'm broadcasting both virtually as well as to the students in the room. So at this point, it might be asking your son to reach out after class and ask a question or two to sort of just kind of develop that initial relationship. And also from my perspective, it helps me get a little bit of recognition of the individual and put a name to a face, often by chatting for a few minutes after class. And then it's going into office hours, and that sometimes is one of the most foreboding aspects for a student to try. If I'm advising a student and trying to help them get to that point, I try to encourage them to think about the 2 or 3 questions they're going to ask. So come in with a goal. You're going to ask to go over that last exam, or you want to say, this is how I studied for my last midterm. I'm not happy with how I did. What do you hear that I should do a little bit differently? Or specifically asking a question of, this is what I thought you were saying on this particular, question or topic in class today, but I really don't understand it. Can we walk through it again? It's a very common feeling to be nervous about going to speak to the professor, but really we're all holding office hours that are meant to host students just dropping by. Some faculty ask students to make an appointment via email before they pop by, but many of us just have these open hours. Mine are Thursdays 1 to 3, and I just want students to just drop in, ask a few questions. I can tell you that some of the introductory courses, it tends to be like a group study party I have a colleague in chemistry who can host 10, 15 students in her office right before a midterm. They often might move down the hallway to have a little bit more space, but he may find that he's not alone, and then it's a little bit easier. You're going to walk into the office and there's 2 or 3 other people there, and then you sort of just have a casual conversation where each person can kind of take turns asking questions, and that can really make it a lot easier.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. My son completed his Georgia Tech math course during his senior year of high school. Now he is a freshman at Georgia Tech. Can he still apply for tutor, LA, or plus leader positions for math or other courses he took while in high school, or does he need to be taking those courses at Tech now?
He can do it. So we hire our peer tutors, peer educators for courses they took through Georgia Tech, and that includes distance learning from high school. And we also make exceptions for transfer students. In those cases, we ask a transfer student to be hired and to have at least 1 semester of tutoring or plussing for a course they took here. But then after that, if they've had more experience at Georgia Tech and more experience with tutoring, they can talk to us and say, okay, I actually feel fine, tutoring calculus, even though I took it at Kennesaw or Georgia State, and we add that to their courses supported list. But yes, we do have students who come in having taken 1 or more math courses from Georgia Tech while in high school, and they can begin tutoring them their first semester here with us.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. For any parents and family members who may have joined us late, if they're hired through your office as a tutor, is it a paid position or a non-paid position?
That's a great question. It is a paid position. So our position started at $11 an hour, and then there's a pay boost after they complete the first semester of training, and by another pay boost if they are selected to be one of our mentors. So we offer professional development and want to help students on their career path with maybe their first job. And so there are some leadership opportunities within Tutoring and Plus, and that also has a pay bump.
Great. And just once again, could you talk more about, from what you've seen from your personal experience, about just some positives and benefits of the mentoring that is done, and what effect can it have on a student who is maybe, new to Georgia, state of Georgia, out of state, or international student?
Right. I do think that both Tutoring and Plus can have a great impact on a student's feeling of belonging and being a part of the community here at Georgia Tech, because they're being helped by a peer, someone who's already taken that course, who can sympathize and connect with them over what might be challenging for that particular course or that faculty member. And then in the process of helping them master the content, help them feel more connected and at ease with their own challenges, knowing that other people have had the same challenges here at Georgia Tech. So many of our tutors develop relationships over the course of the semester where the same individual is coming back and scheduling multiple appointments with their tutor. Certainly in Plus, right, those peers are the same individuals you're seeing every day in class. And so it does help to build some community and help you connect outside of the classroom with other students that you can then form even additional study groups and build those community bonds that are really necessary, especially with students coming from a variety of different experiences over the past year and a half with virtual learning. And we really want to help students feel connected and achieve the success we know they're capable of. But it's not always easy to achieve that success alone at Georgia Tech. The most successful students really do take advantage of all the different resources we've got. You know what, Tyler, that reminds me, I did mention at the beginning I was going to help share some of the other resources in academic success here at Georgia Tech. So our Office of Minority Services, OMED, also has a tutoring and mentor program that's available to students in the College of Engineering, has a tutoring program called Shell Tutoring, sponsored by Shell, that they'll hear about within their engineering courses. And computing, the College of Computing also runs a tutoring program, and they are partnered with us in the same scheduling platform. So students will see tutoring both from TAS and College of Computing at the same calendar interface.
Great, that's awesome. I think it's good to have those many different outlets that all kind of connect back together. you may have mentioned this earlier, but for those who may have joined us late, is tutoring offered on the weekends?
We do. And
Okay.
that's really a benefit, I think, of coming out of what we've learned from the pandemic. So we have virtual tutoring that is offered on the weekends, and our tutoring centers are open on Sunday afternoons. We have in-person Sunday afternoons, and then in-person available Monday through Friday, 9 to 7. And then evening appointments are available. Those are all virtual. And Saturday and Sunday, we have additional virtual options.
Great. I think that's really good to know. Every now and then a student may say, "Hey, mom, hey, dad, I don't have time," and now the mom can say, "You do have time."
You can find them. I mean, we've got some of our tutors, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. appointments because that's when it fits in their schedule. And likewise, it's likely going to fit also for another student.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Green. I think that's all the questions that we have here. If you have any closing remarks, please feel free to make those.
Sure. I want to emphasize how many resources are here at Georgia Tech to help your students succeed. We really care for their well-being and helping them balance their own personal priorities and experiences and clubs and activities with achieving academic success. So partnering with advising and coaching and tutoring, we work together to try to help refer students back and forth across the different programs so that they can find the help that they need. So really, if you can encourage your student to get in the door for any of them, they're likely to be helped to additional resources that they may need to be successful.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And parents and family members, please know this will be recorded and posted to our YouTube page within the next 24 hours. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Also posted to our website, parents.gatech.edu. If you'd like a copy of these slides, also please feel free to email Dr. Green. She's more than happy to get them to you. And with that being said, have a great day and go Jackets.
Awesome. Go Jackets.